The year is 1919. The Great War, a conflict so devastating it was believed to be the war to end all wars, had finally ended. Germany, once a proud and powerful empire, was in ruins. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in June 1919, held Germany responsible for the war and imposed crippling reparations on the defeated nation. Millions of Germans were unemployed. Inflation spiraled out of control, wiping out the savings of the middle class. The German people were hungry, humiliated, and desperate for a solution, for someone to blame. Into this maelstrom of despair stepped a charismatic leader, Adolf Hitler. Born in Austria in 1889, Hitler had been a mediocre student and a failed artist. He found his true calling, however, in the trenches of the First World War. Hitler embraced the camaraderie and purpose of military life, rising to the rank of corporal and earning the Iron Cross for bravery. The defeat of Germany in 1918 was a bitter blow to Hitler. He, like many Germans, refused to accept the armistice and believed that Germany had been stabbed in the back by its own people, particularly Jews and socialists. This resentment, coupled with his wartime experiences and a deep-seated belief in German nationalism, would shape his worldview and set him on a path to infamy. In the aftermath of World War I, Germany was a hotbed of political extremism. Numerous small parties and groups, each with its own ideology and agenda, vied for power. One such group, the German Workers' Party, caught Hitler's attention. Founded in 1919, the party espoused a mix of nationalism, anti-Semitism and anti-capitalism, views that resonated with Hitler's own.
Hitler quickly rose through the ranks of the party, his charisma and powerful speaking skills captivating audiences. He organized rallies, gave fiery speeches, and ruthlessly exploited the anger and frustration of the German people. Hitler's message was simple and seductive. Germany had been betrayed by its enemies, both foreign and domestic, and only he could restore the nation to its former glory.
In 1921, Hitler became chairman of the party, which he renamed the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or Nazi Party for short. Under his leadership, the party adopted the swastika as its symbol and formed a paramilitary organization, the Sturmabteilung, or SA, to intimidate opponents and disrupt the meetings of rival parties. The SA, known as brown shirts for their uniforms, were thugs and street fighters, but they played a key role in the Nazi Party's rise to power. The early 1920s were a time of political and economic turmoil in Germany. The Weimar Republic, the democratic government established after the war, was weak and unstable. The Nazis, with their message of hate and their promises of a return to greatness, were a seductive alternative for many desperate Germans. The year 1933 marked a turning point in German history. In January, President Hindenburg, pressured by conservative politicians who believed they could control him, appointed Adolf Hitler as Chancellor of Germany. They grossly underestimated Hitler's ambition and ruthlessness. Within months, the Nazis had effectively dismantled German democracy, transforming the country into a totalitarian dictatorship. The Reichstag fire in February 1933, which the Nazis blamed on communists, provided a pretext for suspending civil liberties and rounding up political opponents.
The Enabling Act, passed in March, gave Hitler's government the power to enact laws without the consent of the Reichstag, effectively ending parliamentary rule in Germany. With his opponents silenced or imprisoned, Hitler moved swiftly to consolidate his power.
The Nazis wasted no time in implementing their radical agenda. Trade unions were abolished and political parties were outlawed. The regime established a vast propaganda machine, controlling all aspects of the media and culture to promote Nazi ideology. Books deemed un-German were burned, and artists and intellectuals who refused to conform were silenced or forced into exile. The Nazis' persecution of Jews, a cornerstone of their ideology, escalated dramatically. Anti-Semitic laws were passed, stripping Jews of their citizenship and civil rights. Jewish businesses were boycotted, and Jews were excluded from public life.
The Night of Broken Glass, or Kristallnacht, on November 9th to 10th, 1938, marked a terrifying escalation of Nazi violence against Jews. Synagogues were burned, Jewish homes and businesses were vandalized, and thousands of Jews were arrested and deported to concentration camps. The horrors of the Holocaust were about to unfold.
The nightmare had begun, and the world would soon witness the full extent of the atrocities committed under Hitler's regime.